The Spanish announce table.
It is episode 342 of the Spanish Announce Table. It is the 8-year anniversary. Tom is on. I know it looks right now looks like he's not, but Tom has promised me he's here. His camera is working, but he's setting up a present, you say, Tom?
Tim.
Okay.
It has been 8 glorious years doing a podcast with you. Mm-hmm. The time of my life, Tim.
'Cause I've had the time. Anyway, all right.
And in the 8-year tradition, what is customary is to give bronze to someone of special note in the relationship.
You got me. WWE Tag Team Championships.
Now, Tim,
yeah,
I couldn't see you, so I decided I still wanted to give this present out, but I decided to give it to myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, I got a bronze tan, Tim. I got a bronze tan.
You got a bronze tan.
Right? Hey, 8-year anniversary. You do a bronze tan. What do you think, Tim? Huh? Isn't this the best gift? I got myself a bronze tan for you, Tim. 8 years. 8 years. Highlight of the show right here.
Have you did this to yourself?
Yeah. Look. Don't I look good?
You
Tim.
look. Tom, have you looked? You did this to yourself?
Look,
Yeah.
I'm watching on the live stream, and Tim,
So you see it now.
I look pretty great.
This is a great job of something.
This is the best gift in Spanish Announce Table history, right?
Yes, this is
Look
the
at
best gift you have given in the Spanish
Hey!
Announce Table history.
Look at this. Huh? You love it.
You look like
8
the referee
years.
that just got fired from NXT.
Okay, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see the comparison.
Luxurious bronze tan that guy has.
Yeah.
You know, his idol looks kind of like you look right now, too.
Well, I don't want to go with that look.
Okay.
Let's just say that I got the bronze tan for the Spanish Announce Table. Table Nation.
Got the
and
bronze
you,
tan
Tim.
because I'm the man with the plan.
Tim, it is 8 years. And by the way, on our 8-year anniversary, let's give a quick cheers to the beer sponsor of the week. Been with us since day one. We've actually been on his podcast, Wrestling Cheers.
I'll tell you
We're
this.
talking about the one and only Justin Summers.
Justin Summers. And as is customary with our beer sponsor of the week. Now, before we get into that, if you want to be the beer sponsor of the week, all you got to do is send us some money. You do that at SpanishAnnounceTable.net. There's a donate button. There is, there's also a PayPal icon right around the top of the page. If you're having any troubles, get a hold of us on our social media accounts, which you can also find at SpanishAnnounceTable.net.
If you would like to also donate bronze, visit SpanishAnnounceTable.net. And you, too, can be a part of the 8-year anniversary.
Well, you can donate the money for bronze, and we might find a bronze bottled beer for it. Or you can just donate money just because you feel it. But, if you want to donate and be the beer sponsor of the week, you send us enough money for the beer, and we go get the beer. We try to find whatever kind you tell us. But Justin Summers chimed in. As I think last 8 year's anniversary show, he informed me he also was the beer sponsor of that year episode because he's awesome. I mean, Justin Summers has a long history with this show. Great fan, great contributor, great guest, great
I hope
host
he
at times.
appreciates this bronze tan as much as you do, Tim.
It was, as is customary with our beer sponsors of the week, we love to share with everyone in the Table Nation how great our beer sponsors of the week are. Tom, how great is Justin Summers?
If you want a wrestling breakdown of the best pro wrestling in the state of Ohio, you go to one source, and it's not us. You go to Justin Summers.
Wrestling Cheers, a great podcast. Now, here's how great Justin Summers is, Tom, is that technically we're taking this beer sponsor of the week on credit because he said, go pick up the beer, let me know what it is. And I have not yet let him know. We haven't done that before with anybody. So, Justin,
Yes.
yeah. I've given him every avenue now to just be like, fuck you.
No, he has built that trust up. We trust him. And again, your trusted source for independent pro wrestling and pro wrestling breakdowns in the great state of Ohio,
And
Cleveland specifically. Go to Justin Summers.
best beer this side of Cleveland.
Oh, and his truck driving abilities. Oh, good God. Books have been written about the skills that this man has behind of a wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
I heard he could
plural books.
Yeah. I heard he can parallel park blindfolded. I heard that he can do a 2-lane change and not make anyone mad.
I heard kids don't even have to give him the horn signal. They just kind of look up and he's like,
He already knows.
Yeah.
He already knows.
I
heard that when the rare cases that he does cut someone off, they apologize to him.
Yeah. 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 He's
And
the
Justin,
best.
again, if you'd like to be a part of this bronze anniversary, tableshow@gmail.com, you can also take part. Hey, and hashtag tweet the table if you want to take part in your own bronze stand and send us some photos. We're in it.
If you're just joining us live, this is the 8-year anniversary of the Spanish announce table, and Tom, for the 8-year anniversary, learned that it was bronze, and we couldn't see each other in time, so he just decided to give his gift to me, to his damn self, and he gave himself a bronze tan. And let me tell you, Tom, I'm glad you didn't show up and just give me a bronze tan. That would have been an awkward experience.
Well, that was the plan.
Which might have been made for a better YouTube clip. I'm not gonna lie, might have went more viral than this episode probably will. However, this is magnificent. I can't even begin to tell you. You look like a used basketball. You're so great. Like a several-year-old, works like guy did on the blacktop,
You say used basketball, I hear beautiful, tomato. But let's get into...
Your dog doesn't even recognize you. Listen to that.
I know. It's going to be some getting used to from the pup. But again, in time, she also appreciates the bronze. But hey, we've talked about our 8-year anniversary. Thank you for anyone who is new, anyone who's been listening for these past 8 years. We definitely appreciate you giving us support. But let's get into what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about pro wrestling, specifically AEW. And our favorite show right now, AEW Dynamite. And last night was Fyter Fest Night 2. Now, we talked about this off air. Night 1, quite possibly the best episode of Dynamite that we can recall.
Yeah, might have been the best. Yeah, that came to mind recently. Now, and this is kind of a weird, we'll get right back into what you're saying here. This is really a 3-week event for them. You have the Fyter Fest Night 1, you have the Fyter Fest Night 2, and then they roll right into Fight for the Fallen, right? I mean, this is like an annual 3-week event almost.
Yeah.
I know they call it two different things, but...
Yeah, but it's a festival of celebration. So before we get into our specific breakdown of Fyter Fest Night 2, I will ask you later, but what did you think of this event?
I like this event. I told you I would give it a solid A show. I think because last week was like, oh, this is the best ever. I know some things where I'm like, yeah, this didn't hit home as well as I would have thought. But yeah.
Well, then let's get into it.
Right.
So it kicks off last night with the 5 labors of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is allowed to use a chair. Chris Jericho is not. MJF is on commentary. Tim, Chris Jericho ends up winning this match, but what did you think?
I thought, let me get back on here. I thought this match went great for that reason, right? The ability of you get to use the chair and I don't is fun, right? Because you get to work some of them spots in there, albeit he did kind of use the chair. Yeah. Go figure. What are you going to do? However, I liked, the match well enough. We all understood Chris Jericho's going to win, but they still put on a show where you're like, all right, you guys went hard. You did some spots here. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of this Judas Effect finish. Every time I see it, I'm like, I like it less and less because I think it would be better if somebody was if it was a young guy like Ricochet could really spin real quick and hit it right and in the right spot every time. But old man Jericho ain't doing it. This is getting half a side of the bicep sometimes, you know what I mean, on the chest. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to you during the show about Chris Jericho. Look, creatively speaking, he is hitting home run after home run. Physically looking at him, though, And we got the comment from MJF, which MJF on commentary, so great. By the way, what do you call a hot girl from Dallas?
What?
A tourist. That was the line of the night. I loved MJF on commentary.
That's right. I did. I forgot about that last.
That was so great. But he also said, this isn't Chris Jericho in labor. It's the 5 labors of love or 5 labors of Jericho. And I know how you can be confused by that because look, like I said, Chris Jericho creatively, everything he's doing, home runs. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. But man, if I said, hey, casual fan that watched during the Attitude Era, Chris Jericho's still going and they see this guy, yeesh. But regardless, I like the match as well. I like that Sammy Guevara got involved, right? Because then now we get back to Sammy Guevara, Shawn Spears. We're probably going to get a blow off there. And then that allowed Chris Jericho to win. So what I liked about that is it was Chris Jericho winning, but not Shawn Spears just looking like a doofus and getting beat clean by a guy who couldn't use a chair and then he could use the chair, right? Like they had Sammy Guevara get involved. So it made more sense that, hey, Shawn Spears would lose because there's outside interference. Now, let's get into the post-match promo. MJF, upset, beside himself, says, I realize you got past the first labor of Jericho, but the second labor you will not get past. First off, no outside interference. Second off, no holds barred. Third of all, it's the most violent man currently in pro wrestling. It is Nick fucking Gage. Holy shit, Tim. What did you think of this?
He, for those who know Nick Gage, I knew who he was talking about when he said he robbed a bank without a mask, and I was like, God damn, they brought Nick motherfucking Gage onto this show. They are about to. I mean, I'm not too surprised when they went with the death matches and the death matches, right? The exploding death matches and the other matches. This is not necessarily off-brand or pushing the envelope, I don't think. So I think this, however, Nick Gage will be pushing the envelope. They may tell him don't staple gun his tongue to a thing, but Nick Gage might tell him, fuck you, lick my nutsack. So I don't know what's going to happen, and that's why this is can't miss television, because it's Nick fucking Gage.
Can't miss television. I am so excited for next week. Here's what I thought, though, is Nick Gage, GCW champion. And again, this weekend, if you haven't already made plans, make sure to do so. Saturday night, Nick fucking Gage versus Matt Cardona for the GCW championship on Fight TV. It's going to be incredible. But when I saw Nick Gage actually on the stage, and you had Nick Gage at MJF, and we're going to get into more of the people who were involved throughout the night, I saw Simon Miller from What Culture post this on Twitter, so credit to him. But it almost feels like AEW is Super Smash Bros, where it's like you get King Kong and then Mario, or another good analogy. Have you seen the newest Space Jam, the Space Jam 2 with LeBron?
I have not seen the newest one, no.
Okay, well, it's not a big spoiler, but part of the story is the Looney Tunes with LeBron James are bumping around the entire universe of Warner Brothers. So you get Game of Thrones, you get The Matrix, you get the Jetsons, you get the Flintstones. And this is kind of what...
like cameo spots, yeah.
Right, and this is what AEW is starting to feel like, where you're getting all of these different people. Nick, I mean, think about this, Tim. We had in one night, Orange Cassidy, Sting, Taz, Nick Gage, and Kenny Omega. Like this wide end spectrum of all of those different characters in one night of wrestling. It's just incredible. So I can't wait. Again, next week, it's going to be the second labor of Jericho in a no holds barred, unsanctioned match. Nick fucking Gage versus Chris Jericho. Now, I'm going to make an early prediction.
Okay.
As I mentioned, Saturday night is going to be Matt Cardona versus Nick Gage for the GCW championship. I believe that Chris Jericho is going to get some outside interference, and it's not going to be from the inner circle, because again, the inner circle is not allowed ringside or involved in this match. That doesn't mean that Matt Cardona isn't allowed. And we've seen Matt Cardona in AEW.
That's what it's going to be.
But here's the thing. Like you said, Nick Gage might kill Jericho. He might kill people in the crowd.
He brought a pizza cutter to the guy. Look, it's right.
He had a fork in his hand and was just like, yeah, I'm going to fucking use this on your forehead, which we'll get into that spot from another couple wrestlers a little bit later, but cannot wait. So let's get back into it. After the commercial break, we had our TNT champion, Miro, cutting a promo, and he talks about how he is the Redeemer. Now, this was fun. He didn't necessarily call out one specific person, but it sounded like, hey, we're going to get back to business. I'm kicking someone's ass. What did you think of the promo?
I thought it was true to the character that he's portraying right now, and to the his arrogance of it and all of that. So I like that. You're looking at the chat. Shout out to the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Theo.
If you're not on the live stream, you're missing out. Typically 7:30 Thursday nights. It's always Thursday nights. We'll let you know otherwise. Around 7:30. We were running a little late.
7:30 in the one true time zone, Central Standard Time.
True
by
that.
The way.
Theo75, shout out. He says, look at T-Max sprayed on tan. 9 out of 10 needs more gold-plated teeth.
Hey, we'll get there.
Yeah. Look at that.
We'll get there, baby.
Yeah, look at that. Look, yeah, give it time, man. More sun. More fun in the sun, baby. Yeah, spray tan. This is all natural. Yeah, this is all natural. What you talking about? Listen, what were we fucking talking about? Miro. I think this is one of the things where I was like, cool. Last week's promo was way fucking better. So this file, I was like, we could have done something else here and I would have been fine. Like, I don't feel like this advanced much,
Well,
okay.
Tim.
Yeah.
There is a detail. And this is why I'm reading into it, because, as we just mentioned, we just saw GCW heavyweight champion Nick fucking Gage, MDK, all fucking day. If you noticed, Miro was cutting a promo, and he was wearing a Bloodsport jacket.
I did notice that. So we getting Barnett.
Now, you could say, oh, that's Bloodsport, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Cool, he's a fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Sure is.
Whatever, right? Or you could say, that's a call out. We have Bloodsport, a promotion. They do a bi-monthly show, and Josh Barnett versus Miro. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up if that's what we're doing. Again, that's a little detail that maybe I'm reading too much into, but if that's where we're going, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't think that's a terrible idea, and we may get that. I'm not as much of a, Josh Barnett dude as you are, I guess. So I'm not dying to see it, but I know it'll be good. You know what I mean?
You want to talk about someone who can actually throw hands?
Well, yes. Yeah, that I'm aware of. I'm aware of. Yeah. He's not going to go in there and be worried that Miro's going to actually fuck him up. I get that. Right. But yeah.
Should be fun. If that's where we're going. Again, that's my prediction. I have no sources. I don't by the way, timeout real quick. We'll get back into our AEW Dynamite recap here, but it's an AEW tidbit that I'd like to get your feedback on.
Yeah.
You can't stay away from it. You're seeing it all over the internet.
I know.
The rumor is AEW has signed both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk.
Yep.
Here's the thing that I will say. If that is true, go fuck yourselves for reporting that, because you're ruining surprises. These are the same motherfuckers that if Star Wars was coming out, they'd be like, hey, by the way, Darth Vader is Luke's father. It's being reported that in the script, Darth Vader is Luke's. Just let us have some fun.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Don't report that. I get you. You know what I mean? We all know who the legit guys are and who have the scoops. We don't need to you don't need to prove it. And I kind of look. I really don't care to see CM Punk, and
ooh, I kind of do.
I mean, yeah. You know what could be cool is if these guys come in under the same purpose and reason, right? Mm-hmm. If they show up together and they're like, we're here to do X, Y, and Z.
They're the new outsiders kind of thing.
Yeah. Or maybe they're like, we heard a lot about how this Bullet Club was the coolest thing in wrestling. Meanwhile, we were the coolest fucking thing in wrestling, right? Something like that. Sure. Look, I'm not to discredit CM Punk's ability to get over, to tell good stories, to tell a decent story in the match. I think he's an A-level player wherever you're going to place him. I mean, obviously we don't know now skill-set-wise and stuff like that, but, I never, he never would have been my choice, even when he was doing his best as, the A-plus top-line guy. He just wasn't my personal thing, but I get a lot of people like him. People like him. So, I as much as I'll be like, Jesus fucking Christ, this blowhard again, I will probably get over that if he's doing a good job, which he probably could. So I'm going to give him that pass. The Daniel Bryan thing, I'm like, this could go one of many ways. Daniel Bryan is another guy where it's we hear AEW does we like to give the talent this free reign to do what they want. It's you got to check him once in a while because he's very like he's a fringe guy, right? You know what I mean? Like he might come up with something that could be gold. We could be like, listen, man, like we've got to like tweak this or
well, he could take that Planet's Champion thing and actually be a babyface in AEW, and then we get some really cool shit, right? Like he can do some things. He can do. I'm excited for both.
I would love to see that heel Planet's Champion again, though. I think
I'd like
even
to
in
see the
AEW you
babyface.
could still. I still think in AEW you could still work it as a heel because
I
if
like
you're
to see
doing
it as a
if you're
babyface.
doing it where like you can't do it because I said so, which is it would get it. Goddamn WWE for fucking that up. That was tailor made for their audience to hate, fucking hate, to hate. Whatever.
So anyhow, my biggest tangent about this though is I'm so tired of these sites and these retweets of people saying like, "Did you hear? It's blah 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 blah." Stop, man! Why do you want to ruin things for yourself? And we'll get into WWE here in a little bit. And spoiler alert: John Cena appears at the end of Money in the Bank, but we kept seeing retweets and likes of stuff that would show up on your Twitter profile that
was going to happen. Yeah.
John Cena. And so like, why do you do that? It's such a fucking buzzkill. I would have been legit like excited. Now again, the story sucked, but I would have been legit excited to see John Cena reappear if I didn't see all of that shit on Twitter. Now maybe that's on me, but again, I like friends that like this show, that like that stuff, that then like and retweet it, and then I happen to see it. So what are you going to do? But anyhow, let's get back into AEW real quick. So after Miro cuts his promo in his Bloodsport jacket, we get the most baffling match of the night. We got to go into this a little bit here because for as great as AEW is, sometimes they miss, and I think they missed here. We had Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter, taking on in one-on-one action tag team wrestler Doc Gallows, and Doc Gallows wins.
Yeah.
You can't be a hunter if you never shoot and kill anything.
So here's an aspect of we've lamented this, like when Frankie Kazarian came and like first dropped that bomb, like I'm the, he never called himself the Elite Hunter. He just said like, I'm coming after you, did this Taken speech. And we were like, that's a great idea. They're not going, it would work, but they're not going to do it with Frankie Kazarian. It's not going to get over with him. They're not going to put him in they're not going to put him in the spot. It was tailor made for, the number one guy to take down the Elite, right? Which was never going to be Frankie Kazarian. So now, if you just fall short, I think it's almost better where he's like, I'm coming after you. And every time he comes after him, it's like, bam! And he just gets beat the fuck down. And we start like, God damn it, come on. Kazarian, you know what I mean? Like, these guys wronged you, don't give up. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Better, maybe, than what we were getting prior to this. I don't know.
What we're getting, but here's my point, and I said this on our Twitter @Table Show. We live tweet during AEW Dynamite on whatever night it airs, so please join us and join the conversation. But what I said was, he lost this match to a tag team wrestler. Again, you can beat one of these fucking guys. Might as well beat a tag team wrestler in a singles competition. But okay, right, to your point. He can't get a win over these guys, but he's not going to quit until he does. Okay, fair enough. But then you also put on top of this that every fucking time that he comes out to help the baby faces when the Elite are trying to get one over on him, they still fucking lose. Kind of feels like you're a fucking loser.
Here's a better idea. Everything we're saying, right? He's trying. He's failing. We're like, God damn, poor guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was wrong. He has every right to try to go fight these guys, and I hope he makes good on it, but he's not. And you're right. The faces still lose. But here's something that's happening, right? Now they're beating his ass because they're like, fuck you, you're a thorn in our side. Well, those faces aren't returning the favor. They're not coming back to help. They're not showing up. And he goes, maybe I'm hunting the wrong people.
Ooh. Now, we'll see. But let's talk about
Hire Tim.
That is a good one. I do like that. So,
Tim.
As mentioned, Doc Gallows gets the win, but then the Good Brothers. Not going to talk about it anymore because you guys all know how I feel.
Are they good?
But then the Good
Brother?
Well, they're Impact wrestlers, but regardless.
Hey, you know how we feel about Impact Wrestling, so
I just don't get why it's okay. Side note. Let's
Impact Wrestling's weird. I'm sorry. Pause.
Well,
I've tried to watch
why?
Impact Wrestling a bunch of times, and it's always a weird show.
I just don't get why a tag team isn't taking them out on the basis of get out of my company. Get out of my company.
Yeah.
This is my company. You don't work here. You don't go. Yeah. Remember Bianca Belair? You don't even go here.
Yeah.
That should be the fucking story. Anyhow, Good Brothers start to beat up Kaz. Kenny Omega comes out, and he's snapping and clapping along, and then he also starts beating up Kaz, and that brings out one of the biggest pops of the night, the most over guy in pro wrestling. Hashtag cowboy shit. We got Hangman Adam Page, and he charges the ring. Here's the fun detail I want to tell you. We still have yet to see Kenny Omega and Hangman get physical.
Here's something,
I like that.
Here's something that I thought. Either Hangman is a great actor, or Hangman was drunk doing that segment. He was... When he was like, you drink right now? I was like, it was like the Taz, like, there's a good chance of that. Like when they dropped the, are you high right now? I was like, there's a good chance of that. It looked legit. I was like, shit, is he really staggering? I was like,
why not?
Or he's,
he does that
himself.
buckshot lariat. Yeah, he does that buckshot lariat.
Hey, I'm not gonna pass judgments. I too am drinking right now on the job. Thanks to our beer sponsor of the week, Justin Summers, the guy who smells like What is, I don't know, what's a good smell in 2021?
He smells like success and vaccines.
Yes. You see that video of Fauci calling out Rand Paul?
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
All right, goddamn. All right, anyway, so Justin Summers is a swell dude. We love that guy. If you want to be the beer sponsor of the week, SpanishAnnounceTable.net, donate to us on PayPal. Hey, Tom, back to this.
Yeah, so Hangman comes out, but then he gets beat up 4 against 1. Kazarian's on the outside, I guess, unconscious, which whatever. But then that brings out the Dark Order, and then the Dark Order chases them off to set up next week. We finally get this match where, again, if Hangman and the Dark Order loses, they both lose their tag team opportunity and their number 1 contendership with Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega. What do you think? We're getting excited. Let's do an early prediction. What do you think? What happens here? Hangman and the Dark Order come through, or do they fall short? They can fall short.
If they fall short, the heat from that. But see, the thing with that, though, is I get there will be heat. But I don't know that the crowd is going to direct that heat at, like, Kenny Omega and Don Callis. I think they're going to direct that heat at AEW. You know what I mean? So I think that's a move I wouldn't make. I think they've got to come through and get their matches. Now, or we write around how they get back to a match. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I think. If they do it, we can still get there because there's enough time.
But will the fans turn on you at that point? Like, now it feels like when we talk about strike while the iron is hot.
That's true.
The iron can't be any hotter.
Right.
If it's hotter, you're going to burn the clothes. It's good. Like, do it now. You got to do it.
But I will say, off the heels of night 1, and I don't know how we feel about night 2 as far as the winners, but on night 1 specifically, it was all baby faces. It was all yay. Nothing bad happened.
Yep.
It was all baby faces, leave, excited, yay. And that's good to a certain extent until, okay, do the bad guys ever get a win? And that's what I'm saying. They might get a win here because if anyone's going to book themselves over, if we're breaking kayfabe here for a second, it's gonna be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Have a idea of like, hey, you think we're gonna do this?
Right. They have that mentality.
Surprise.
So,
and don't get me wrong, they have approached the storyline the way we have never approached a pro wrestling storyline in my memory. Right, like with this like slow burn of like a guy's mental health aspect of it. Yeah. Hey, shout out to the chat again. Theo chimed in with his thoughts on what heavy smells like. He says smells like pine tar. So I don't know if that's good or bad. That's a good thing, right? People love the smell of pine tar.
Fan?
Yeah.
Hey,
you love
Kansas
the smell
City.
of pine tar.
George Brett, Kansas City. We got pine tar.
Yeah, we love that pine tar over here in Kansas City with George Brett. Bring that up with him. See if he fucking slaps you and chokes you. Anyway.
We'll see. So, we get a pull apart, and that's where that story ends for the night. Again, buckshot lariat from Hangman on Carl Anderson, which made me smile because fuck Carl Anderson.
Buckshot lariat. That thing looks so cool when they do it right.
It's the best.
It's a lot of setup, and that's where you can lose some of the believability, but hitting the move, he does so well. Fucking well.
It's great. So now backstage, we get Brian Cage. And they talk about earlier in the day, Team Taz are celebrating Ricky Starks' victory. They say next week, Ricky Starks is going to celebrate that he is now the FTW champion. Brian Cage says, I love celebrations, might see you there. So it looks like we're going to get something there.
And let me point something out. This is what AEW does better tenfold than WWE in 2021 and for seemingly the last 20 years in WWE. We had that big fucking swerve last week. We got a, hey, it happened, and fuck you, what are you going to do about it? Nothing else this week. We've got to tune in next week. WWE would have put a match, and then we would have got a match next week, and then we would have got a match the week after that, and we would have got a match the fucking week after that.
With no story progression.
We would have already seen Kenny Omega and Hangman wrestle 14 fucking times already.
Yeah, with no
tag
storyline
matches,
progression.
in tag matches, and 3-on-1s, and fucking just straight up matches, and then a gimmick match, and then the blow off would have been a fucking TLC match. Yeah, they don't slow roll anything anymore. And this is great. Like, we were like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen with Brian Cage and Team Taz and the new FTW champion? Well, we don't know what's going to happen. All we know is, what are you going to do about it, bitch? And that's great. I love that.
We've got something to look forward to next week.
Yes.
So after that,
pause.
Then we get...
I want to talk about Will fucking Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs, right?
Yeah. Okay.
This dude is getting infinitely better every time I see him. If you've watched him on Dark and Elevation, like, when he's in the ring, like, he's hitting it. Like, he's getting way better. Like, his swagger is there, and it's exactly the swagger this kind of guy needs, where he's just like, bitch, try. Like, they come, and he's just fucking throwing him around the ring, and he's like, yeah, what the fuck are you gonna, you know what I mean? Like, he's loving it. Oh, this guy could be a star, I think.
He's the future. Again, I still think, I like that the swerve, right? We got Ricky Starks as the FTW champion, but still, optics and just... if we're in kayfabe land, it still doesn't make sense why Ricky Starks and Taz would even be friends, because Ricky Starks is wanting to get manicures. Taz is wanting to do blow behind the bar. You know what I mean?
If you want to hashtag hire Tim, all you got to do to shore that up is Taz, while I am a tough beast and I will rip your fucking limbs from your body if you test me, pal, or I'll just get my fucking son to do it. I also am a businessman, and I know money when I see it. And I get to the top because I'm a promoter. You know what I mean? Like,
but then that kind of feel. Yes, I like that, and that would make sense. However, and it's not as good as Team Taz, I will be honest. But isn't Matt Hardy kind of doing that?
Yeah. Well, I would not have had Matt Hardy do it.
Well, so anyhow,
if you want to hashtag hire Tim.
Yeah. So let's get back into the ring here. We get Darby Allin taking on, which I found out because, again, I don't know independent pro wrestling, but you know who does? Our beer sponsor of the week, Justin Summers. Willard Utah is the IWTV, the Internet Wrestling, or excuse me, the Independent Wrestling champion. Did you know that? He's the Independent Wrestling champion. Pretty cool.
So
Found that out.
I've heard this guy's going to be good. And here's what I will say. Again, he kind of wrestles the style we don't like, but it's a little different. I like it a little more. It is more technical, mat-based, right? So it is a lot more around the ring. I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm under. It's a lot more choreographed, which you can tell. But it is a little more. It's less like hold my hand while I go up here and do a whirly bird and arm drag you. It's like you thought you threw me out of the ropes. I snuck back in real quick, and as soon as you bounce off the ropes, I'm rolling you up into a fucking an arm bar or something, right? So that's cool. I'll give him that. It's a little different.
And it's a little bit more of the guy just stays still. Like, why would you stay there? It's like, well, because he's got to go here to here to here.
Yeah.
But again, it's not the jumping and I just stand and look at him. Anyhow, we get Darby Allin with Sting taking on Willer Utah with Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
Moment of the night. Let's talk about it. Sting and Orange Cassidy have a beatdown brawl, the likes we've never seen before. It was incredible. They had to. I thought security was going to come in at any moment here. What did you think of the stare down, beat down between Sting and Orange Cassidy?
This was fun, and then it became clear why this match was booked. I was like, this match is weird. Like, I don't understand why it's here. And then this spot came, and I was like, this is why they set the whole match up. Very fun spot.
I loved it.
Spot.
Yeah. Credit to Sting too. This is where you got to give Sting his props. If we're breaking kayfabe for a quick second, is legends of a certain ilk, Goldberg, I'm talking to you, where I can't do that, brother. It's my gimmick. I can't do that. I can't look lesser than. Where Sting, who's done it all.
Yeah.
Done it all. Beat Ric Flair, beat Hulk Hogan. He's went to WWE. He's been in WrestleMania. He's been in Starrcade. I mean, he's done it all. He says, hey, I know that this guy's pretty over. I can do his thing, and I think it'll be relevant. And that's exactly what he did. So credit a legend to do that.
I will say this. We've talked a lot in this 8-year anniversary show of ours. My thoughts on Sting differ from your thoughts on Sting.
Love Sting.
As a general totality. I will say this. Over the last 8 years of the show, I like Sting a whole lot more than I did to start because of things like this, right? As he's taken on that veteran role and we'll call it the old, what used to be called the Chris Jericho contract, right? Where he could kind of come in for a few spots, leave, and, come back for a few months and leave. Well, you're right. Every time it is always with this, he is a star and he's getting all this shine and all this spotlight, and it is about Sting, but that never comes across from him. He is always like fucking putting over the people, like having humility about him and stuff. And now Sting is a man of, he lives by certain values and faith and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm sure some of that comes into play for him. But I mean, like he is that. He is the professional that is like, I want to help get these guys over. And it shows. Right. It really does show. Yeah.
And he's adapting his character to the current circumstances. For example, if you go back to his first match, that cinematic match where he went into Darby Allin's world and they had that factory match against Team Taz, it wasn't just Sting with crows and he does the Scorpion Death Drop and I hit a couple people with the bat, let's get out of here. It was more a Darby Allin match that had Sting, unlike a Sting match that just had all these other guys. And by the way, I'm going to squash all of them and I'm going to look the coolest. So anyhow, Darby Allin gets the victory. Post-match, we do get a real beatdown. We get the Blade coming out of nowhere with Nux and just takes out Orange Cassidy. Yeah. Just gives him a, how's your father? See you next Tuesday. Fuck out of here. And then we'll get that match here in a little bit. But what did you think of the Blade coming out before their match to get a good old 5 across your lip?
So where I think we're going from this is I thought, is the Butcher hurt? Is he not around?
I think so.
Because I thought that's the easy answer. We're going to get the Butcher and Blade versus Wheeler, Yuta, and Orange Cassidy, right? Another chance to highlight Wheeler, Yuta. We get Orange Cassidy again. We get the pockets, and you know what I mean. Butcher the Blade. Yeah, you get the pockets, right? But maybe we're just going to get Orange Cassidy versus the Blade or something. Fight for the Fallen or something. Like they've been playing this little offshoot, back and forth with this Hardy family office. I guess anybody could fill in. It could be the Blade and anybody versus those two guys too. I think that's cool.
I think this was the blow off. Yeah. Again, we'll get to it in just a second.
I think it was huge. Like it didn't I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this. I was like, what a dick.
Yeah. But we'll get to it in just a second. So after the commercial break, we get an AEW Women's World Championship match. Credit to AEW for listening to the podcast. They didn't put this before the main event. They put it at the top of the hour, and I loved it. And it was Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on the Native Beast, Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero. What did you think of this match? I thought this was pretty fun.
Match was good. They go hard. I think every time we see these like big spots from the DMD, she kills it. Britt Baker is a professional at this, and she wants to give that big match. So I thought they went good here. I like the angle they took with the Eddie Guerrero spot. She didn't steal the Guerrero thing to fuck with Guerrero. She tried to, and it almost backfired on her. But didn't even stop the match or anything. It was like, all right, fuck, sorry, oops. Well, you know what I mean? Like I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the match, again, I will never thoroughly criticize a match because I've never done one. I really don't know how difficult it is. I have friends who are pro wrestlers. It seems pretty hard. So I'm not going to be like, oh, However, it was a little clunky towards the start of the match.
Yes,
it was a little clunky,
absolutely.
But
Their
I like
timing
that
was a
because
little
sometimes, but sometimes, fuck it, right? It's a
in
fight.
A real fight that happens.
Yeah,
I have been in fights where we try to swing and we miss a couple times and we fall over on something, then we get them and we're punching again. Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
So it was a little clunky, but again, I liked it. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. But to your point, that Eddie Guerrero spot I thought was perfect because Nyla Rose, being cornered by Vicky Guerrero, would totally understand what the fuck was happening to her, right? Yeah. Like, that's what I liked about it, is it made sense from a storyline perspective that Britt Baker would try to do the Eddie thing to her, and she's like, no, I got Eddie's wife. She knows what to do in this situation.
Here's I loved that it was a twist. It was like, okay, we're seeing people, like, we've seen this. We've seen people do the Eddie Guerrero shtick as an homage, and it was like, oh, cool, because Vicky's there, I get it. I wasn't hating it, but I was like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's done that. I was like, all right, okay. But the idea that, like, it didn't work, and now the ref's turned it back, she just threw it back. She's like, no, please don't. And it was like, oh, I like that. Like, you did something different than nobody else was doing, and I like that.
Yeah, I was going to be honestly upset that it would make Nyla Rose look so stupid that his wife, Vicky Guerrero, did not teach her how to get around this spot. So I like that. That was really good. But as we get to the finish, a really cool finish with kind of a flow through into the lockjaw that we got here. And we get a still, #and still, AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, as your winner. What did you think? Did you like the move? Did you think Britt Baker should still be the champ? And what do you see next for her?
Yes, Britt Baker should still be the champ. I didn't think they were going to get. I never once thought it was happening that Nyla Rose was going to take this thing. Britt Baker is the champ. I don't know where they go. I don't know who the next. I mean, they'll throw somebody in, but I think she's going to have a good run for a while. So I don't think whoever the next person is.
I agree. Now, if you pay attention to AEW's Twitter page, they announced something.
Yeah.
Birthday girl, as of July 22nd, birthday girl, Thunder Rosa officially became All Elite. That makes me excited.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going.
She's great, and we're going to do that, yes. Hey, let's shout out the chat again. If you're just listening to the podcast, you didn't join us live, shame on you. If I can steal a Dak Draper term, shame on you. You could join the chat. You could talk to us just like Big Josh did, and he said, did we get an MJF Coin update? And we didn't. I forgot. I ran out of time, but I told him, hold on a second, man. I'll do one here live. And just fuck it, we'll do it live. All right?
Well,
give me the fucking live. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Well, here.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Hold on.
All right.
Well, let's do it after the AEW recap.
Okay.
We'll use that as our transition. So I'll give you some time to look it up. So let's get into it here. Britt Baker is still your women's world champion, but then afterwards, and this is where I think the addition of Rampage is going to help out a lot of people. Because after Britt Baker beats Nyla Rose to retain her championship, we get a press conference that took place earlier in the day between FTR and Santana and Ortiz. Now, they're saying a lot of the same things where we're from different side of the tracks, but we're kind of the same people. And then Santana's like, you ain't anything like me. I got real stories and real shit. And then FTR says like, hey, there's 3 things I care about. It's beating your ass, God, and wrestling or something like that.
I'm going to call something out.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the same thing you've been saying. We don't need any more wrestlers in AEW. We don't need anybody else signed in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We need it behind the camera.
Yep.
Because whoever edited this and made the decisions on where to cut and what to cut and what they were talking about, something went wrong here.
Well, so this is where I was going to say, this is where the addition of Rampage will help out a storyline like this, because then you could do a press conference without as many bad edits. Let's be completely transparent, without as many bad edits. And it has a little bit of breath to it, because I thought this was great, but it was condensed to like 45 seconds. So I'm excited for in the future, a year from now, 16 months from now, where these segments don't have to just be jam-packed onto Dynamite. It can live on Rampage. Or if you, again, want to elevate Elevation, it can live on Elevation. So I thought it was good. Again, we're going to get that match, I believe, next week. But it felt a little rushed. And so it was good, but anyhow. So let's keep going. After the commercial break, we see Tony Schiavone again. This time, though, in the ring. He is introducing Andrade El Idolo. Now, Andrade says, got a surprise for you. Got new representation. Vicky, love her, kicking her to the curb. We're getting Chavo.
Who's the other guy?
I think that's just an assistant. I even asked that on our Twitter page. I was like, have we ever explained who the white guy is? I think that's just an assistant. But he's been there the entire time. After week 1, he's been there the entire time. He's just never talked.
So what? Like you're just trading Guerreros?
So that's what I thought. Right?
Don't get me wrong. I like Chavo, but
And the pop is big because it's Texas, and Guerreros are big everywhere, but they're especially popular in the great state of Texas, which feels like a cult. Side story there. But yeah, if it's a major surprise and it's Chavo, cool, but I don't know if that was the big thing there. Where we got the fun stuff, though, is Death Triangle comes out and was like, hey, heard you call our name. What the fuck you want, pal? And Andrade gets right to the point. He says, hey, the two luchadors, what are you doing with the gringo? Huh? Why don't you come work for me?
Right, yeah.
And this is what I like the most about the segment, is Chavo does a little bit of the translation for Pac. It makes sense from a storyline perspective. He's like, hey, Pac, you can only speak one language, so I'll translate for you, and says what they have been saying back and forth to each other. But what I liked is it was authentic to who all the people were in this storyline. They spoke Spanish because that's what they fucking do. And it made sense. Now the story though, what do you think we're getting from here? Because it seems like Death Triangle is staying united. Rey Fenix and Pentagon were like, hey, we're the king of the luchadors, not you. Andrade's like, you're fucking dumb. I'm going to kick your ass, I guess. And then Pac was like, don't try to fuck this up. We're a triangle. So fuck you.
I mean, I could only think we get like Pac versus Andrade, and then it lends to the idea that like, are they going to turn on Pac and join him? Like, but that
Do you
feels
think
weird.
that's where they go?
They just swap it out. Like that feels weird. So I don't know. I mean, like, look, don't get me wrong. Pac versus Andrade is probably going to be cool, but
Well,
like, I don't.
Well, you know how AEW is just signing every fucking person. By the way, check out Past Blue Ribbon's Twitter account. They said they also signed with AEW, which I thought was fun.
I love that. That was great.
Why not? You know, we've got a couple luchadors from WWE that were released, right? We got two of the members from Lucha House Party that are gone from WWE. What if they show up in AEW? And then we get a 6-man tag of Andrade, the other two guys, and then Death Triangle.
AEW needs another show at this point. I don't.
Well, they do. They're getting one. Remember, Rampage is coming up.
I mean, they
Now
are,
it's a
but like they
1-hour
need
show.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah. This is, again, where a segment like this would be great on Elevation, right? Like, Elevation is where you can do these things. Have Dark be where, you know, Ryan Mantell, friend of the show, shout out to him. Great to see him on AEW programming. But he can stay on Dark, but then you can bring Andrade's segment here to Elevation, or, again, in the future, to Rampage. But let's get back to AEW's Dynamite's Fyter Fest Night 2 from last night. Then we had Christian backstage, and he's like, hey, let's end this shit between me and Matt Hardy, right? So next week it's going to be Christian and Jurassic Express versus the Hardy family office. Hopefully we do a little of that storyline, because, again, little tired of the Hardy family office. And also, I'm ready for whatever's next with Christian and Jurassic Express. What do you think happens, though?
Yeah. I'm tired of the Hardy family office. I really am. Yeah, you may be right. We may be getting something with this Christian and the Luchasaurus, because now it's like, it's Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. And so Marco Stunt's like, fuck me, right? Like, I wasn't part of this trio. Like,
well,
what?
he got beat up, right? So
Yeah,
they showed
true that,
footage
true
from
that,
earlier that he got beat up by the Hardy family office. That's what brought out Jurassic Express and Christian. So I get it. But yeah, the odd man out almost feels like Marco Stunt. Maybe he inserts himself here and says, hey, fuck out of here. This is our party, not yours, Christian. Get out. But we'll see. I just think we're going to do something with Christian and Jungle Boy, because they've been bumping into each other for so long that it feels like it would be weird if they just said, shake hands and I'll go this way and you go that way. It feels like we won't do that. But again, I could be wrong. All right, so now let's get, after the commercial break, Marvez is backstage with The Factory. Cutie, which again, god dang it, our 8-year anniversary.
Man. Oh, I promised him. God damn it. I'm sorry, Cutie.
Almost
Fucking,
you know,
God damn
look,
it. Q-Tip
let's
Marsupial is
break
my
kayfabe
favorite wrestler. Okay.
Hold on,
All right.
Tim. Let's just break kayfabe here
right.
for a second. Let's be real. We're going to have you on, Cutie, but we had a scheduling conflict because you got to celebrate with Bronze, and we couldn't get you on. My apologies, but goddamn, look how good I look.
Yeah, goddamn, huh? Right, guy?
Fucking get Abe Lincoln off the penny and put me on, because I look fucking great.
Right, guy?
But anyhow, The Factory says, hey, Yeah, we poured fucking protein drink on Tony Schiavone's head last week, but we'll apologize. But we're going to do it next week. So next week we'll issue an apology. So we'll see the Factory and Tony Schiavone. What do you think happens here?
More Factory being Factory, I guess.
But who saves Tony Schiavone in this circumstance? Because we already had Cody, right? So like Cody can't do it again. So who comes out and says like Factory, get out of here? Is it Jurassic Express?
Maybe it's somebody's gonna do something. I just don't know. Yeah, we'd have to like look through the roster of who's got a stall right now and who needs to be a white meat baby face right now.
Yeah. You know who could do it? Because he's
Gage.
Well, no, because he's kind of not doing anything. Because Death Triangle looks like they're reunited, and we got Jon Moxley and New Japan storylines. You know who could defend Tony Schiavone? Eddie fucking Kingston.
Eddie Kingston should be there fucking Stone Cold right now, if you ask me.
Well, he kind of is, right?
So, but like, I mean, they need to push it like that. Like, he's the fucking guy, man. Well, Hangman's the guy right now. I give him that.
Yeah, but I could see Eddie Kingston coming to Tony Schiavone's aid. Real quick note that I forgot to mention during the Britt Baker Nyla Rose match. I love how Tony Schiavone throughout all matches, unless it involves Don Callis, is very neutral, right? He's just like, oh, that's not good for the babyface, but we'll see if he can come back. But when Britt Baker wrestles, he's like, get out of the way. What the hell? Come on. Like,
so, and again, they're professionals enough, though, to know that and to do that. Like, that's on purpose. But I love this idea that, like, Tony really, but they haven't really explained it.
They're best friends.
It's just weird.
They're best friends.
It's like when Mick Foley was like, I'm Melina's friend. And we're like, why? You know what I mean? Or whatever. Yeah, it's like, what? That's weird. Yeah, it's fun.
I like that. I do like that. Okay, so now after we get the Factory saying that they're going to apologize to Tony Schiavone next week, we get back into the ring. We get that Orange Cassidy versus Blade match. And this is what I liked. I will say this. Earlier in the night, as we mentioned, the Blade comes out, knocks out Orange Cassidy with brass knucks. So then when he walks out for this match, he's like, hey, fuck Orange Cassidy. He's knocked out. He's not going to fucking come through. And that's where the intrigue is, right? So you plant the seeds a little bit earlier in the show to where now I'm interested to see, like, well, what are they going to do, right? Orange Cassidy's music hit. He didn't walk out. What's going to happen? AEW is the place where fucking anything can happen, it feels like.
Yep.
Now, nothing crazy happened. Orange Cassidy just came from the crowd and gave him the old Superman punch to his jaw. But at least it got me interested to start off the match. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Orange Cassidy the idea is fun. I do worry that like they're hitting it's starting to get Hogan must pose to some extent. Like we got to get all the spots. So I would hope they find some new angle and some fun thing to do. Because we've seen this Orange Cassidy gimmick now for a while. I mean, it's been rolling around the indies. Mm-hmm. You know, it's here. Like at some point, you know, at some point it's like, I get it, but.
I think in the future, I think in the future, if you have an episode where, you know, Orange Cassidy and Eddie Kingston have their stare down Sting version style of a fight, right? And we do that, and that's your only moment of Orange Cassidy, then that's when we're using Orange Cassidy the best, unless we have a storyline for him. This was, like you said, a little bit more overexposure, but again, it's Orange Cassidy, right?
It is.
It's Orange Cassidy.
The crowd loves it.
Right. Yeah. Right now, he's still hitting home runs, so we're good. But again, it's getting to the point where, like, hey, like the Inner Circle, make me miss you a little bit.
Yeah.
So Orange Cassidy gets the victory, and then after he gets the victory, he says, I'm taking these brass knucks, and I'm getting sweet revenge, and I'm hitting you again. So I think that's the blow-off. I think that's where Orange Cassidy's going to do something. Butcher and the Blade, they're going to do something. We'll see what happens. But there it is. Now, as you mentioned, the Hogan Most Pose kind of gimmick in AEW, I don't think is being filled by Orange Cassidy. I think it's being filled by Chris Jericho. Because backstage, we get Chris Jericho being interviewed by Alex Marvez, And Chris Jericho says, if I've got to face the most demented, violent version of a wrestler in Nick Gage, then the most demented, violent version of Jericho needs to be here. It's the Painmaker. And look, I know in New Japan he did some fun stuff, and credit Excalibur for trying to put that over, where he said in New Japan he was the Painmaker and he beat Okada, Evil, and a couple other people. I get it, right? But in AEW, I thought the most violent and demented version of Chris Jericho is when he beat up the Young Bucks' dad just because he fucking wanted to. Like, that's the version of Chris Jericho I want to see, not I wear fun goth paint.
Well, I'm getting used to the idea that AEW is going to operate under the idea that, like, a world of professional wrestling existed before we started, around us, and will continue, around us now. And if you don't understand it, it's not necessarily always our job to educate you. The stuff exists on YouTube and Google. And,
right.
To some extent, sure. We do hate how WWE will be like, here's how you download an app. So, some inferred understanding that, like, you can educate yourself on what the fuck he's talking about if you had to. And it might bring you down an avenue. So, I get it. I never caught any of the Painmaker Jericho stuff.
I saw a little bit of it, yeah.
So, fine. You know what I mean? I'll see how, he's going to go full bore into it. I'll get my exposure to it. From the looks of it, from what I did see from the outside, it's probably not my favorite Jericho. So, I'm more interested in Nick fucking Gage in this match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Nick Gage is going to, like, we're going to get half a Jericho moving forward. Like, he's not going to be the same Jericho anymore.
I just think we didn't need 2 segments of Jericho, right? We had him kick off the show, and then we had him say, I'm going to be the Painmaker. We could have easily done this next week with right before the match. Right. Marva says, you're walking out to face the most violent pro wrestler in all of pro wrestling, Nick Gage. How do you combat that? And then he goes, I'm the Painmaker. And then he walks out and like, pop. Oh shit.
Yeah, like, oh,
right.
fuck.
Then there you go. I just didn't think I don't think we needed 2 segments of Orange Cassidy. And I didn't think we need 2 segments of Chris Jericho. Again, nothing horrible with it.
Well, here's the thing.
Let's not make that a habit.
Here's what I know. Now, I understand. Not everybody thinks things through deeply. Not everybody has an internal monologue and things like that, right? Here's what I'm telling myself. Jericho, you bring both jackets? You brought some makeup with you? Were you like are you always ready to go as the Painmaker if need be?
That's, again, where it would make sense next week, where he would have time to prepare and say, like, I have now thought about what I need to do to get through this match, and I need to be the Painmaker.
Because I'm like, that's a jacket that, like, it needs its own case. You don't stuff that in the suitcase with other things. You bring that in its own suitcase. Because look at the fucking spikes. It's look, here, I'll put it up. It's behind you right now, Tom. And it's fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking, you don't put that in a suitcase by itself. So, like, I know you brought that for a specific reason.
By the way, checking out the live stream here. Looks so fucking good. God,
is that what it is? He looks so good.
I am the best looking penny you have ever seen in your life.
Do you have abs like the Situation?
Yeah, of course. Look at me in this cutoff.
You
don't wear a cutoff out, baby. Yeah, you don't wear a cutoff with no muscles. Huh?
What's the tattoo?
It got my name.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
It got a cross.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen your shoulders, but I've seen your ass.
Not the only one. Hey, let's get into the main event.
True facts. I think I saw your ass before I saw your shoulders in our 8 years of doing this show. How about that?
The title of the show.
I saw your ass before I saw your shoulders.
So let's get into the main event in Texas. It's a Texas death match for the IWGP United States Championship. Champion Jon Moxley taking on challenger Lance Archer. And by God, we got all the fun shit in here, didn't we?
Oh.
We had a fan get fucking seared. We got kendo stick. We got barbed wire. We got tables. This was just a clusterfuck of fun. Tim, what did you think of this main event?
I mean, how could it be anything other than what you described, right? I think we knew these guys were not going to shy away from what a death match is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
If they gave them any sort of limitations because it's American TV, they took every ounce of leeway they had within those limitations.
There was a fork involved, which, by the way, again, AEW, love you. You might be on the greatest 3-year ride I've ever witnessed in any promotional history, right? And then any promotion's history. It's amazing. However, I mentioned that this is now, I believe, 4 weeks in a row since the pandemic that you got wrestlers out in the fans when we don't know who's vaccinated and who's not, right? So that's one.
Yeah.
Again, kind of cut the shit there. But two, maybe let's not share a fork where it's being jabbed into each other's head. If you're going to do the fork spot, let's get 2 forks, right? Let's keep it at least
please
sanitary. Because again, blood is real, and if you start mixing it and then you start putting it back in other people's heads and shit, things can happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying we don't need to take the risk. But I like this for 2 reasons. One, I felt like Jon Moxley got all of his use out of being in New Japan's promotion, right? He went over there, he wrestled Kenta, he did his fun stuff with some other guys like Suzuki and things like that. But by that time, or by now, it's enough, right? He's an AEW wrestler, so we need to get him a little bit focused on AEW. I also like, though, that Lance Archer gets a clean victory. Again, he puts him through a table with barbed wire, and Jon Moxley can't get out of the barbed wire, but still, he won fair and square. But this is also a shot in the arm for Lance Archer, because the last thing that he did was lose to Miro in a TNT championship match. So at least this is some fun shit that he can do. And then he can also go over to Japan and he can be the big monster that he used to be in New Japan. And also we don't have to feature him each and every week, and he can still get his work in with taking on guys like Evil or Ibushi or whoever it is with the IWGP United States Championship. So I thought this was a great move all around, and I liked that Lance Archer got the victory. Looks like next week we're already going to get his first title defense where he's going to take on the son of Haku. And I'm going to butcher this name. I know I'm not. I'm going to nail it. Hikaru. Nailed it. It's going to be Hikaru versus Lance Archer. My favorite moment of this was JR getting an erection when he realized how tall Hikaru was. Did you hear that in his voice? He was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, he's 6'8".
Yeah. I like this. I was honestly swerved too, because earlier in the show they said like Jon Moxley's going for this record reign, and I was like, oh well, Moxley's going to win, because I didn't realize that before, but because I think last week I was like, yeah, Archer's going to win, so I heard that and I was like, oh well, then Moxley's winning. They're going to give him the reign before he fucking goes. Nope. Sorry about your damn luck, if I could quote whatever the fuck that guy's name was.
Beer money.
Yeah. So that was neat. I like that. And again, you're right. Archer is the way to go if you're going to take it off somebody that's believable and doesn't make Moxley look bad. I like it.
Yeah, and also, again, it gives a big monster some things to do outside of your promotion while still being an AEW guy, right? Because there's only so many times that he can beat up Dan Lambert like he did a couple weeks ago in Miami, where you're like, okay, what the fuck? Is he the new Braun Strowman? Well, kind of, but also here we go. We're going to send him over to Japan. He's going to beat up Kenta again, or whatever it is. Okay. So I like it all around. Great idea. Next week, we get some more New Japan action with Lance Archer defending his title. And Jon Moxley loses. And he loses because, hey, you can't win them all. And it's good to see you lose every so often, right? Because you can't be this invisible. You can't be this indestructible John Cena-like character in AEW. So I liked it. It was fun. It was good. And that was AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 2. So you kind of tipped your hand. Of the 2 nights, you preferred night 1?
I did prefer night 1. I think I'll be at night 2 again. I gave it an A show. I don't think it was bad. How you come off of last week, right?
Yeah, I thought Britt Baker was great. You got to get her over. That's your star. I believe, again, from retweets and likes on Twitter, I saw that she was the highest rated segment of the night. So shows that she is a star. Credit to her. I love the Sting and Orange Cassidy moment. That was so much fun. Sting doing the beating on the chest. I thought it was so much fun. Obviously, Nick fucking Gage was incredible. MJF on commentary was great. Andrade and the Death Triangle, even though it was a little bit, not a lot, but it had that vibe and it had that feel of like, oh, something real is going to happen here. So thought it was an A+ show. Loved it. One of my favorite nights of Dynamite, back to back, night 1 and night 2. And next week we get Fight for the Fallen. So I tell you what, let's ride this high for as long as we can. I absolutely love it. And that is AEW.
Well, then let's touch on something that Big Josh asked us for in the chat, right? By the way, chat, join the chat if you're watching the live stream on the YouTube, Thursdays, 7:30. Speaking of Big Josh, says, that death match ranked second on my match of the week this week. What was first?
What was first?
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. But Big Josh did ask for an MJF coin update. And Tom, because I'm good, I was able to pull it off on the side while you were talking on the side, because that's how we do things when you're radio and podcasting veterans like ourselves. And Tom, it's not good news.
But it is. Come on.
Currently at $1.58 for an MJF coin. It's down 70% from last week and still down 82% overall. So I think all you could afford was the spray tan.
I put this on credit because you told me last week we were going up.
We were going up. But then this again. Here, let me put it back up. There it is again. Not looking good. All downsies. The spray tan
is starting to this bronze tan is starting to itch.
All not good from there. But hey, let me pull something else up here. We had an event called Money in the Bank this week, and we're going to talk about that and its fallout throughout the rest of the week from the WWE side of things. The Dolph Ziggler kickoff show began with a tag team match, and because it was on the Dolph Ziggler kickoff show, I didn't think we were going to get the tag team title switch, but we did. Usos are your SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Tom. I'm a fan of the Usos, and anytime they get the titles, I'm fine with it, I guess. So I guess that's where we're at now, yeah? What do you think?
Yeah, because again, one thing you can always count on in pro wrestling is that if there's a group faction that's going to be the most powerful faction in all of pro wrestling, they need all the belts. So Roman Reigns is your champion. Then you got to have Usos as your tag champions. It makes sense. I'm fine with it. I don't think that Rey and Dominic, after they became the first father-son tag team, were really going to do much after that. So yeah, fine with it. Good job. Good move, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So then we had. Okay. So and the fallout of that too. We'll hit SmackDown. I like how Roman kind of flipped him on. And he was like, yeah, I'm proud of you guys. This. So like, I gave you what you want.
Now give me what I want.
And you sense in Usos where they're kind of like, we're in a bad situation, but like, yeah, right, yeah, right, like, yeah, like they're kind of realizing it and they get it, but like they also have that like. It's weird. It's like a dichotomy where it's still like, but it's family, right? Like we're doing the right thing, right? Like, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do.
It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome.
Almost like Stockholm Syndrome. Almost. Good. Look at you, Tom. Looking like a fucking smart guy over here.
Yeah. Get a little tan and find out some things.
Yeah. Sizzled them wires back in place. Resoldered them back in. All right. Money in the Bank match for the ladies. What'd you think of it? Let's just start from there. Match happened. What's your thoughts on the match of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Sure. Like, I don't know. It was fine. Here's the thing. They've set the bar at such a, not great, it's a passable good level. They have a formula of what's going to be a good gimmick match, especially in ladder matches. And they can do that, and they can do it well, and it's entertaining. And that's what this match was. But it wasn't anything that reinvented the wheel, if that makes any sense. It was your standard fun spots, did some cool things, we're in and we're out. Okay. I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to go rewatch it. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just... there were some weird spots where it felt like, it's those where we question, right? Like they're holding the ladder too long and it's like way too choreographed, too set up. And then the ending was just too unbelievable, right? They're all on the ladder. I know what they thought they were pulling off, right? We're all going to be fighting so hard on the ladder amongst each other that nobody's able to notice Nikki coming up and getting it. But when they showed the replay, everyone did notice. Asuka was like, hey, but wasn't like somebody should stop her. It was like, well, you could, right? Like, it all came off weird. And so
it was fine, but much like my spray tan, it wasn't great.
Well, then the cash-in came. And this is post, we get like this like follow-up to, spoiler alert, Charlotte's the champ. Fun stat I saw. And you brought another aspect of this, so I'll let you tell that portion. But since the first women's Money in the Bank winner, Carmella, every single women's Money in the Bank winner has cashed in within 24 hours. And that was 2017, so like we've had some years. And they're all cashing in. Like we don't get that long play of like, it is the next fucking night.
Or the night.
Yeah,
in the case of Bayley.
Right.
Because this is the third time now that Charlotte has had someone cash in the Money in the Bank on her.
Yeah.
And it was cool when Carmella did it. It was spectacular when Bayley did it. It was a Hail Mary for, you like us, right? When Nikki, what is there? It's not Nikki Cross. What are we? Ash?
They're saying ASH even. They're not even saying Ash. They're saying Nikki ASH. I think they probably, because they're worried about sounding like ass.
You know why. You know why they're saying it that way.
Why?
Because they want the fucking crowd to chant ASH, ASH, ASH.
And we're not gonna.
I'm going to Monday Night Raw this Monday, by the way, and I'm not gonna fucking chant that.
I thought you were going to go. I didn't fucking even bother because you said you don't even watch the show.
I don't watch it, but I wanted to go. I haven't been to a wrestling show since the pandemic. And this was the first opportunity. So, like,
I never asked you. Like, I would have went, but I didn't. I was like, oh, we're not going to that. I'm not going. Yeah. Hey, have fun with that.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, shut up, Tim. Why are you going to make me feel bad? I haven't been to a wrestling show in 20 months. Maybe a little less.
Well, here you go. You're going to get things like this. The Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders versus AJ Styles and Omos. Omos is another one where I'm like, all right, he's starting to get like the swagger and the idea about what he's supposed to be. But
I don't get these matches. I don't get them because they're heels, but we're made to believe that as soon as he gets the hot tag, oh, cool. And I don't know if we should be saying like, if you want the match to be AJ Styles wrestles, and then he gets exhausted and he needs to make the hot tag, well, then when he makes the hot tag, we should cheer because that's the hot tag. That's what you do on a hot tag. But we're making the hot tag to the heels. So like, huh? How should I feel? It's fucking weird.
It is weird. I don't like it.
Right? It's a baby. They're acting as baby faces in the match. Even if you like don't know pro wrestling, right? Like I'm going to Monday Night Raw with my brother-in-law who only watches when I take him to Monday Night Raw, right? Mm-hmm. And he's going to watch, let's assume that they do a tag match. And he's going to assume that when Omos gets the tag, oh, he's the big good guy. We're excited to see him. But we shouldn't be because they're being presented as heels. So, like, what the fuck?
It's bad.
It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And they are it's really, I think this goes back to this idea that they think they're going to be Marvel and they're going to make these guys into like live action comic book superheroes. And they think, because they keep calling him my personal Colossus, my personal Colossus thing. Well, then you should have fucking named him that.
Well, okay, but then like do the match different to where the baby faces are like having to fight him off. And then, you know what I mean? Like have them be heels if they're going to be fucking heels, but you're wrestling them as if they're baby faces. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. All right, the WWE Championship match. Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley, which was essentially a squash match, again, for Kofi. Well, yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
I love Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. I hope to contact him
Been
when
on the
he's
show.
in.
Friend
Been
of
on the show. I hope when he comes into Kansas City, I'm going to text him. Hopefully I can get lunch with him or something. I like Bobby Lashley. I even like Bobby Lashley, the character. If we're staying in kayfabe land, I like the big, powerful guy that looks like the action figure that can beat up you and take your girlfriend or your wife. Yeah. I like that. I like all of it. I like that he has to look strong, and that's fine. But if we're going to tell an interesting story, which credit to WWE, it was an interesting story as far as, we could have Xavier Woods join the Hurt Business, or, we could have the New Day join MVP and kick Bobby Lashley out and do that as a new Hurt Business or whatever it is, right? But just to say, nope, it's a squash. And it to be Kofi, who in recent memory already went through this with Brock Lesnar, it kind of feels like, what the fuck? And on top of that, if you pay attention to WWE social media, because again, I don't like to pay attention to the Meltzers and PW Torches of the world. If you're just paying attention to WWE media, right, social media, then you see, spoiler alert, Kofi Kingston happy as a kid on his birthday that Big E is your Money in the Bank champion and doesn't even seem bothered that he got his fucking ass kicked. So, like, do I give a fuck about Kofi? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's just, you make him look so fucking stupid. And then on top of that, Bobby Lashley looks strong, which is great. And then let's fast forward. He looks strong against a returning Keith Lee, which, you're going to have a guy return just to lose in 4 minutes? And then, do you want to do this now, or do you want to wait till the end of the Money in the Bank recap about the old guys?
No, talk it. Yeah, fuck it. Dude,
yeah.
Shit.
To then have Bobby Lashley be confronted by Goldberg, who, again, let's stay in this world. Let's not break kayfabe. Let's stay in this world. Why in the fuck do we think Goldberg is even a credible challenger to Bobby Lashley when his last match, he lost to Drew McIntyre. The match before that, he lost to Braun Strowman. And the match before that, he lost to, I believe, Brock Lesnar. So, like, fuck that guy. And why does he get a title shot? He just says, I'm next. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I heard, I think Bully Ray talking, he said it would have been great if he would have said, no, you're not.
Yeah, just
you gotta earn it. Like, yeah.
Earn it.
Yeah.
Go beat Kofi. If you could beat Kofi like I beat Kofi, then you get a shot.
Yeah.
And because Goldberg isn't necessarily the worst thing to have on a SummerSlam show. I think the way Goldberg is perfectly used is a few years back when he just speared the fuck out of Dolph Ziggler 17 times and just walked out. That's a great spot for Goldberg. Goldberg spearing Elias, for example, 62 times or, whatever the number is. I'm making that up. And then just in and out. And then Goldberg's so fun, right? Cool. But when you just have him plug and play for a title contender and you have him continually lose, fuck out of here. It's stupid. And on top of that, as we fast forward just a little bit to the main event, you had Edge, who also fucking lost, getting a title opportunity. And then after that, we get a surprising return of John Cena, who lost his last match to Roman Reigns. And then whatever that Firefly Funhouse was, he died. So what in the fuck are we doing with old guys just saying, I got next? Tim, explain that to me.
I don't know. I don't have the explanation. It's bothersome. I don't like it. It's 3 people in a row, as you've talked to. Like, it's Edge, it's Cena, it's Goldberg, it's
insulting. This is why when fans get disgruntled, it's not because, Goldberg's taking someone's spot. Goldberg can take anyone's fucking spot. I don't even hate that. Just make it make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, good luck. I don't know. Maybe it'll make sense when you go to Monday Night Raw.
I've never seen Goldberg. This will be the first time, I assume, that he's going to be there, that I'll ever see Goldberg in person, and I'm going to be so underwhelmed.
Yeah, so Ripley Flair, we talked about that. Now, this was a match. Everybody's talking about like the match they had. And don't get me wrong, we've talked about this. Matches are great. They're going to put on a great match. Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, but like the story wasn't there, so I don't care who won, so I'm less invested in the match.
I didn't watch this.
I didn't watch it. I watched some. I saw that everybody loved it, and then, you know.
I had to. I think you told me when it was over because I was like, I'm not going to watch this. I last week said I wasn't going to watch this match. I'm a man of my word. So I watched baseball during this match. And then Tim said, hey, it's over. And so then I went back to Money in the Bank because the story was insulting. And I'm not going to reward WWE or the performers for my time if you tell me a shit story. Not going to do it.
Well, and there was the men's Money in the Bank match. Look, Big E having the Money in the Bank, fine. I don't know. I don't think his story's any better with it than it was without it, so I don't know.
Well, again, you can do some fun things with some seeds that you've planted. We'll see where it goes, because, again, they made it perfectly clear he can go up against either guy, either Roman or Bobby Lashley. So if you wanted to say Big E's pissed that you beat up his best friend, Kofi Kingston, cool. A friend trying to revenge for a friend, I can get behind because, again, WWE storytelling isn't that in depth, so that's pretty good for them. Or you can go with Big E up against the Bloodline, and I can get behind that. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I feel like this. They tried to capitalize on the big moment for Big E when he became Intercontinental Champion, but no fans were there. Right? They tried to do this whole monumental Big E is your Intercontinental Champ. And they made all the vignettes and 24/7s and whatever it was. And that was fine. I just think they did part 2 with now we have fans.
But again, I think this is what WWE missed. And I thought the coronavirus would let them understand this moment is that like they don't know what they think the fans are going to like. They think the fans are going to love this. And more often than not, they don't. But they keep, like, I don't know if they're delusional, if they hear a different sound than we're hearing, or if they just think, nah, they're just being tongue-in-cheek assholes. But, like, if the crowd would have been there, the crowd would have had the same hands on their, we saw it online. People were like, yeah, Big E Intercontinental. First of all, the Intercontinental Championship right now doesn't mean any fucking thing. Nobody cares who the Intercontinental Championship is. There's no reason to care who the Intercontinental Champion is. There's no reason to care who's vying for the Intercontinental Championship. Like,
who is it?
Who gives a fuck? It's fucking the guy they slapped the Nigerian accent on.
Apollo Crews. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. What's he doing? He wasn't even on this show.
So that's what I mean. Like, they thought, like, they were like, this is going to be this coming out by, like, people are going to be finally like, yes, Big E won the Intercontinental Championship. No, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's like, I really hope somebody wins this Intercontinental Championship tomorrow. Nobody cares. Not a fucking person cares. So, like,
or if they do, they just want to care, right? They just want to say they care. Right. They don't honestly.
There's nothing they're doing that's making you, like, buy into, like, the IC title is this major prize that, like, means something for the person holding it.
Well, it doesn't because they can't even make the pay-per-view.
And we got John Cena back.
Yeah, so we get Roman Reigns versus Edge.
Yeah.
We get Edge almost picking up the victory, and then Seth Rollins, who called next, which again, I don't get how in WWE we're just having guys say, I got next, and we're just all okay with it. But Seth Rollins says, I got next. And again, this makes no sense to me. If you got beef with Edge, why would you cost him the opportunity to say you got next to then fight Roman Reigns? Don't you want to beat up the guy you want to beat up? So let him win and then go like, now me and you are going to fight. And also, after I beat you up, I get my prize. So why would you cost Edge the match? And then they get their little, I'm punching you. And they go to the back. And Roman Reigns is like, ah. And then John Cena comes out. And here's the thing. Just like I mentioned with AEW guys ruining the surprise of you telling us that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan signed with AEW, you ruined the surprise, kept on telling me that at SummerSlam it's going to be Cena versus Roman Reigns. So when he came out, I went, oh, now it's happening. Okay. And he doesn't even do anything. He didn't even do anything. He just did this, which if you're Roman, why would you not hit him in the face? He took your moment. He didn't acknowledge you. If someone doesn't acknowledge you and you say, I want people to acknowledge me, why would you not hit them?
Yeah, why did he not give a shit? I don't understand.
Why did he act like this was not bothersome and he just walked away? He looked like a bitch. And again, he's a heel, so okay, maybe he can look like a bitch, but again, why didn't he say like, you're not worth my time, Paul, go talk to him, and then they do something, Paul Heyman takes an AA, and then Roman's like, I'll see you Friday, right? But then we get to Monday, and John Cena opens up the show. And again, this is where WWE gets an F for their storytelling. John Cena's whole reasoning for coming back to the WWE to challenge Roman Reigns is that he thinks he's arrogant, which is the same fucking story that he told in 2017. And fun fact, he lost that match clean.
And let's talk about some other things here. Did I miss something that, like, as soon as the Money in the Bank ends, a new season of WWE begins? Because we got Keith Lee back. We got fucking John Cena back. We got Goldberg back. We got fucking, like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I think that was fans. I think that was, we want fans to cheer. So I don't know if it was necessarily a new season as much as it was like, we have all these things, but we don't want to do it in front of computer screens. We're going to wait to get a reaction. So Finn Balor's back and all the other people are back.
Yeah, Finn Balor. I didn't fucking think about that.
Yeah.
And we got fast forward to Raw in the biggest what the fuck moment of the week. Karrion Kross shows up.
Oh,
Does his entrance without his full entrance, without his wife. Are they really married? I don't know. And then loses to the face Jeff Hardy, who cheated to win.
And cheated to win in a feud that didn't need him to cheat to win. Because it's one thing if, like, let's write out this story real quick. I could understand this is if they go through 3 to 4 weeks, as WWE typically does, and Karrion Kross is continually cheating to win, right? So the first week is he rolls him up and he holds it tight. Then the second week is he rolls him up and his feet are on the ropes. He wins that way. So then by the time the third or the fourth week happens, it makes sense that Jeff Hardy is like, hey, you're going to get a taste of your own medicine. I'm going to cheat to win. Ha ha. Okay. But then in just a one-on-one match where these two don't know each other in storyline, Jeff Hardy cheats, so then you're a fucking cheater. And then on top of that, aren't you the NXT champion? Aren't you the NXT champion?
Yeah, like, does he get a title shot? Because I thought if you beat the champion, you get a title shot.
Why isn't he on NXT? Tuesday night happened, and we were acting as if Karrion Kross was the scariest man on the earth, and I saw him on the night before losing 2 minutes to a guy who may have been high.
The guy's 40, right? Like, he's fucking 40-something, too. Like, how am I supposed to... Yeah, I don't know.
And on top of that, it's not as if Karrion Kross is the chicken shit heel who makes his grand entrance and is like, I can do whatever I want, like a Miz kind of thing. Because it would make sense that Miz would lose in 2 minutes to whoever, right? Because he's kind of the chicken shit. He always runs away when people puff out their chest. Karrion Kross beat Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole in one match. But then he loses to 40-year-old loser, because he's losing on main event, Jeff Hardy. Huh? What?
Beats me. I tried to think about it all damn. Yeah, I don't know.
Here's what I'll say. Let's transition to a story that I think is getting a little bit better. Real quick. Credit to WWE for at least for 1 week not making Drew McIntyre Celtic storyteller of the week and just making him like, if you're going to fuck with me in the Money in the Bank match, then I'm going to end you guys. And you want to see it? I'm taking 20 chair shots on this poor bastard's back. So at least he's not doing, well, the Scottish ancestors would say that I need to do 6 dances during the rain and that will get my revenge. Like, at least he looks fucking credible and cool again, right? Like, I will say that was a minor highlight in this otherwise ordinary episode of Monday Night Raw.
All right, Tom, unless you have any other WWE topics.
Nope.
Before we get to Tweet the Tables, which is a fun interactive game that you at home can play along, and we've got a whole bunch of them later. You join Twitter, you log on, you use hashtag #TweetTheTable while you're watching wrestling, and we'll read them right here on the show. We're at Table Show, by the way. Before we get to that, this is our 8-year anniversary show. If memory serves me correct, it was July 23rd. So, we're recording it a day ahead of, when this will, most people will probably be hearing this. 2013.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's discuss, Tom. I'm going to have some trivia for you here.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to ask you, at the time, we were probably commenting on WWE and Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm going to run through some champs on July 23rd, 2013, and see if you can come up with it, right? I just got this information off of WrestlingData.com, so if I'm wrong, fact check me, bro. Fuck you going to do about it? All right. Let's start with WWE tag team titles. They call it the Raw tag team titles because at the time I think there was only one tag titles. They were on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But who were the WWE tag champions on July 23rd, 2013?
New Day.
No, I'm going to give you a second guess. You're kind of close.
Usos.
Nope. It was The Shield. However, it was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
Oh, because Dean Ambrose was the United States champion.
He was the United States champion. Good job.
He never defended it. Remember?
Good
he
job.
defended it like twice.
Good job. You took one of them out. All right, let's jump over then to the TNA. Who are the TNA tag team champions?
Oh, fucking Christ. Motor City Machine Guns.
One of them was on Raw this week.
Bobby Lashley and MVP.
It was Gunstorm, Gunner and James Storm. Gunner, of course, being Jackson Riker now.
Oh, by the way, let's quickly talk about Raw real quick.
Fuck.
The fucking non-reaction for either of those guys.
Yep.
Wow.
Because they're this. Look, yeah, whatever.
That
whole thing
was
sucks.
sad.
That whole thing
Okay,
sucks.
so Gunner and what was the other guy?
James
Gunstorm.
Gunstorm.
Gunstorm?
Gunstorm.
Gunstorm. Fuck out of here.
Gunstorm. All right.
Sounds like a sponsor for a Trump rally.
Then, who was the Divas champion? July 23rd, 2013. Wasn't the women's.
Yeah. It wasn't the women's.
Uh-huh.
Paige?
It was AJ Lee.
But it was close. It was right. Yeah, it was both of them kind of fucking around with each other. Yeah.
Yep. Let me pull this other one up because I apparently forgot to write it down. Oh, we'll move on to another one. TNA Knockouts champion, Tom. 2013. Mickey James. Good job.
She was the only one around then.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going to pull this other one up here because I had it written down, and apparently I didn't write it down well enough. I didn't finish. I must have been talking to you at the time and forgot to finish writing.
Bronze tan, boy. Look at this.
Man, you're bronze tan. Oh, yeah. Okay. A favorite of ours during the 8 years. Who was the WWE Intercontinental Championship when we started this show?
Champion?
Yeah. 2013, July 23rd. How's your asshole feeling?
Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel! Yes!
I was going to say the Mad Ox. I thought maybe it was the Mad Ox for a second.
The Mad Ox. No, Curtis Axel, Intercontinental Championship. Boy, that guy went far.
Where is he? AEW?
Nursing his asshole. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to sign with AEW this week. Then, okay, we've got 3 left. So let's go TNA X Division Champion. This is a fun one because it ties into the TNA World Champion. This would have been 5 days prior. This guy became the TNA X Division Champion.
Oh, yeah. He no-sold John Morrison and shit and then left the company. Austin Aries.
Nope. This was Manic. Manic became the TNA X Division Champion because it was vacated 5 days prior when someone used option C to become the TNA
Austin
World
Aries.
Champion was Chris Sabin.
Oh! Chris Sabin. And then that's when he beat Bully Ray.
Yep. They thought he was going to be the
Yeah.
guy. The crowd was behind him.
He was for a minute. For a quick minute.
For a quick
He had
hot
his
minute.
moment in the sun.
All right. Then we had 2 world champions in WWE at the time. We had the WWE title and we had the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So who was the WWE title holder?
Orton. Randy Orton.
John
Cena.
Who won it at the Royal Rumble from The Rock and then lost it at SummerSlam to Daniel Bryan when
Well, he didn't
Triple
win it
H.
at the Royal Rumble. He won it at WrestleMania from The Rock. WrestleMania 29.
Well, he won it from the Rumble. Let me pull it up.
He won it from the Rumble at? I don't know.
Let me pull it up.
Because I thought it was Orton and Cena, and then they unified them.
I'm going to pull it up
And
right
then
now on
that's
WrestlingData.com. Right now, the WWE.
Theo says, bring back the sound clips. Well, YouTube is a little bit difficult to make that happen, okay? And we do miss this.
We worked on it,
Maddox,
but
so.
yeah, we've still got some bugs to pull. We have other bugs going on right now that we would rather get those straight before.
There you go. There's your Maddox.
So on April 7th, 2013, John Cena won. So yeah, it would have been WrestleMania. And then he lost it to Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam.
Because you thought
that
Cena
year.
was going to go heel.
That's right. That's right.
But that was the birth of?
The Rock won it at Royal Rumble that year.
Right.
That's what I was looking at. Yep.
But when Daniel Bryan won the championship from John Cena, he lost it to Randy Orton, which was the birth of
Was that
the Authority.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So then who was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion?
So we said Cena was the WWE champion.
Yeah.
So then the world champion.
Another iconic figure in our podcast. He is not with the company now.
Mark Henry?
Nope. And has not been with the company for quite some time. Has a bit of a sullied record.
Oh, Alberto Del Rio?
Alberto Del Rio.
Fuck that guy.
Alberto Del Rio. July 23rd, 2013. And even at that time, we were not doing Tweet the Tables. We were not. Oh, yeah. Big Josh shouts out, Rock beat Punk at the Rumble.
Yes. We were not doing Tweet the Tables at the time, but you know what? We're doing them now.
Yeah. Yeah, Theo's trying to give us tips on how to use the soundboard thing. We were doing that. We've got some bugs to fix up on delay and stuff like that. You know the tech. I get some of you know the tech, but yeah.
Where's your Maddox?
Oh, look, we got X0, X81 back. We haven't seen that person in a while. They were on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, thanks for seeing me
Yes.
again.
Yes, one of our newer listeners that we're aware of. This is our 8-year anniversary show, so welcome. And we're about to round out with Tweet the Tables. If you're not on Twitter, join the club.
be.
Join the cool kids. You know what I mean? You use hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter. You tell us what you're thinking. And you know what? We were talking about Theo. Tom, I'm going to bring up Theo. He tweeted the table. He said,
All right.
Bobby Lashley is like Bobby Lashley in the Money in the Bank title match. He's unstoppable. Hashtag Tweet the Table.
I like him. Like I said, I think he does really well with the limited capabilities he has, but his presentation is great. And his moveset's getting better. I like him. I like him.
Yeah.
But I'm biased.
Yeah. I just like the who was that? What that guy was gone too when he pulled the when he was like Titus O'Neil is like trying to stop Kofi Kingston or trying to stop Kobe Bryant in a Colorado hotel room. He's unstoppable or whatever thing. Remember that when he like made that thing like during the match and then we never saw that guy again.
Yeah. What was his name?
He made a Kobe Bryant rape joke and thought that was going to get over.
God, that was a Washington guy. Someone hashtag Tweet the Table. So, I can see him. Yeah, I can see him.
Oh, this person says old school 2014 listener. God, how did we not?
Hey!
Man. So you're from the early days. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to
Yeah,
have
that
you.
is great.
That is awesome. All right. Hashtag tweet the tip. Let's hop it. At Devil Vamp says Roman is fucking dominating those twins. As a twin, fuck that. He would be done with me and my bro. Hashtag tweet the table. And this, fact check me if I'm wrong, I don't think I was aware Devil Vamp has a twin, and I didn't know the world could survive such a thing.
Insane.
Oh, there's two Devil Vamps? Like,
have
I been talking to the real Devil Vamp this whole time?
Oh, do they do a little twin magic on us? Because we've yelled at each
A lot
other.
of people pay good money for twin magic, you know what I'm saying?
But we've yelled at each other, Devil Vamp.
Abraham Washington.
That's it.
Abraham Washington.
I knew the last name. Yeah, Abraham Washington.
Poor Titus. All right. Hey, another one. Big Josh at the Rebel Trucker says, hashtag tweet the table. Seth talking about destiny. What happened to the last guy that talked about his destiny was to be a champion? Hashtag MITB. And that was the famous Alberto Del Rio. Remember? That was his destiny. He was running his destiny. His destiny. I used that for a while. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Poor Titus. Goddamn. I love Titus O'Neil. Zero on the Twitter says just because of like all the things that, like the make it a win. He's like the like bumbling guy that you're like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's not get rid of Titus, but we're never gonna like push Titus. You know what I mean?
What's your
like
favorite Titus moment?
The fucking running under the ring in the goddamn greatest Royal Rumble. There's nothing better than that. It's fucking. How do you run, fall forward, and slide 40 yards under a goddamn ring?
Well, thank God he didn't kill himself, because he could have. God, Jesus. I always think of him, that is number one, right? But number two, I always think of his reaction after the Firefly Funhouse at WrestleMania.
Yes,
Remember? He was like,
yes.
That was great.
Yes. Oh, gosh. All right. And just the make it a win. Titus makes me think of make it a win, which makes me think of game show NXT. And there was so much bad comedic
He
gold.
fell in that.
There was so much like unintentionally hilarious stuff from NXT game show that I want him to bring it back.
Just for fun?
Yeah, you know how like American Idol was like clearly like you're letting through some of these terrible people through on purpose through the screening. Do that and give us the NXT style. Like, give us these bums that like, hey, one of these we're gonna slap a superhero costume on them and go. All right, and at Mr. Fourth Row says at Table Show, I would describe Peacock's streaming issues tonight as Peacock was trying to fly when they forgot they don't fly. Hashtag tweet the table.
It was bad.
God, it was real bad.
That was, I mean, God. Everything about Peacock from a WWE perspective is really miserable. Search is bad. They keep saying seasons. Royal Rumble season 8, episode 10. It's fuck out of here. It's garbage.
Yeah, that idea of the like season episode, like I get you guys are fitting, like you may have coded it this way and it's easier, but like let's get somebody on it. I get like I hope you're working on it and coding in the background to fix it. But anyway, at Hallmark of Swede, or maybe Sean Spears, right? Maybe
Sean
not.
Spears. Sorry about your loss this
He
week.
says at Hallmark of Swede says hashtag tweet the table says hearing the crowd chant Johnny Drip Drip makes my heart grow at least 2.5 sizes. I love the drip drip. Again, he's another one where we're like, look, it's how I view Titus. I'm like, look, we are not pushing this guy to anything. But I want him out there doing something. I love that the Miz is spraying people with water. Like Byron's getting pissed. You know what I mean? Like the drip. Right.
Make him the Intercontinental Champion.
This is one where I'm like, okay, well, we're like, all right, Orange Cassidy's getting a little stale. I want them to write it hard, and as soon as it gets stale, move on to something else. Let it be a blip in time. Or we're like, remember drip?
Yeah.
Great. I might have a drip shirt. But if you keep doing this, I'm going to hate drip.
I think he needs to go over to SmackDown, and I think the contrast between a Apollo Crews, Nigerian Nightmare and Johnny Drip would be fun.
I see title for Johnny Drip.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Oh, if he redesigns it too, like
Dripping
the
in gold?
moistest champion. Yeah, dripping in gold, the moistest champion of all time. Yeah, there you go. Because what the fuck is Apollo Crews doing? Nothing.
Racist gimmick. I mean, like, I understand he's black and like probably from Nigeria, but like this looks bad.
Yeah.
and we saw the guy on the Raw Underground, so I know that's not Commander Aziz from, like, again, like...
Let's not even talk about that anymore, because they completely ignore their own history.
Well, our final tweet table comes from one of our longtime listeners, at Katie First Lady, and she says, so...
Hey!
She says, so, wins and losses don't matter, right? This is a problem you make when you don't make new stars strong. If you don't care, why should we #TweetTheTable?
And the thing is you can make sympathetic people out of losses.
Right.
Adam Page, right? Lost his #1 contendership, started to second guess who he was. The Dark Order comes back to regain his confidence. Then he beats Brian Cage at the pay-per-view. Now we're back on track. You can have losses that still enhances the character, but in WWE, they just go, what's good this week? What's this? Hey, I remember your name. Hey, come here. You want face that guy? Okay. Right. And that's what they fucking do. Yeah. It's so insulting. It's horrible.
Well, what isn't insulting is these fans. We've got fans that have listened to us for 8 years. We've got fans that are new, just finding us now. We've got fans in the chat. We've had fans tweet the table. We've had fans hate us. We've had fans drive here. We've had fans meet us for breakfast and shit. This has been a fun ride.
I love it. I tell you what, I say this each and every anniversary, and I mean it each and every time. I love the support. Thank you so much for joining us on a live chat using a #TweetTheTable. And if you're not on Twitter, you can still send us an email, tableshow@gmail.com. We have people that are beer sponsors of the week. Justin Summers.
Yeah, Justin Summers. God.
One of the best people I've ever met in this weird, wacky community. And I tell you what, thank you so much. And to celebrate, as I mentioned at the top of the show, get a bronze tan, join the conversation, and send us this picture.
Use your #TweetTheTable and send us your bronze tan. Yeah, shows your inner Tom.
8-year anniversary.
Tom Trump over here.
Love it.
All right. Hey, thanks again for everybody listening. Use #TweetTheTable. And until next time, hey, maybe I'll just say that. We'll see you next year.
The Spanish announce table.